Good evening, good morning, good day, good light, good love, whenever and wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. Once again, I'm Wendy with the Languages of Lights, sharing with all of you the universal love through all of creation, for all creation speaks the languages of lights. And today, in my galactic gathering of lights, Light Language Lounge, I wanted to welcome my dear soul star sister, Trisha Craigie. And hi, honey. We've had the opportunity to hang out before privately, and it's been a long time, hasn't it? Wow, maybe like a year, maybe, huh? I can't remember how long it's been now. One of the things that I love doing on the Languages of Lights channel is to share these experiences that all of us have with light language, to reach across the continents, and to be able to share this beautiful connection. And what's so perfect about today, so many lovely synchronicities. Today is January 28th, 2019, as we record this today. So we've got this one, and then 1-2 energy. So I'm loving that 1-1-1 energy. My birth date is on 11/28. So I resonate with that number, the 1 and the 28. And today's date equals 14, which equals connect. And the Sirian Sacred Circuit, which is one of the reasons for our gathering today, is to talk about symbols and circuits and signs and our star families and our connections to them through these. And so what a perfect synchronistic day that Trisha and I would regather today to talk about this. And there's several synchronicities that, of course, have led up to this now as well. So this is a Sirian Sacred Circuit. If any of you are unfamiliar with me and my channel, that were brought to us through Bashar, channeled by Dara Alenka, and these were many years ago. I literally drew physically this specific tablet back in 2015 when I first became aware of these symbols, and I was immediately activated. It was like I knew right away, oh my God, I'm connected to Sirius, I'm connected to Andromeda, I'm connected to Arcturus, I'm connected to the Pleiadians, and I'm connected to Andromeda. It was like every time I saw a symbol, this spark went off in me. Okay, what's happening? Something is changing with me. I feel emotional. I feel like I'm connecting to my universe in a way I've never done before. I couldn't even explain it. So these circuits were symbolic for me. And I love how even this one has the 3 connections. This is the 2019, which equals 12. And then no matter which way you turn these, it's like symbolizes connecting, like in every direction. So one of the beautiful things about these gatherings is to say, okay, how are you experiencing light languages? When did you start them? How have you been guided to use and apply them? And what we started talking about the other day was, how do we interpret them? How do we know what we're receiving, what we're drawing? What do they mean? And it always reminds me of how, like, even in, how the Egyptian and the hieroglyphs and the pyramids, how we're still trying to figure all this stuff out. We've got symbols carved inside caves, under the earth, above the earth, on inside pyramids, in mountains, places that are so remote that we can't even get to them hardly now. And yet there's these symbols and people and pictures carved. And we're still trying to figure out, well, who were they? What are they trying to tell us? Is it a story? Is it, and so many of them, how many of them depict connecting with the stars, where they're showing planets and suns and moons and animals and how we're divinely connected to all of that. So I had to laugh today because today we're coming from almost the opposite ends of our United States. Trisha being on the Pacific coast, the Pacific Ocean coast of California, and I on the coast of Kentucky Lake here in Tennessee. Very interesting. I felt that we're both on the water because water is a huge conductor of energy. And I noticed today as I picked up my cup right before we started to go on the air, I said, wait till you see this. I didn't realize till I picked up my cup, Pacific Coast Brewing Company.
Wow, and I used to live in Oakland, actually.
And I couldn't believe it. When I'm trying to think where, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know where I got this. And I look down and I say Pacific Coast Brewing Company, Oakland, California. And I was just thinking in my head, she's on the Pacific Coast and I'm on the Kentucky Lake coast and they're coaster. I'm like, sea and water. And I'm like, okay, so
yes,
this,
I love the water.
and this is even weirder, you guys, because so we're talking about the whole reason she and I kind of gathered today is because if you look at this, it's the ocean and the sand. So get this. So she sends me a message and she says, she's on the beach and she's drew this symbol in the sand. And I have done this many times before. So I love this because I used to live on the shore of Lake Michigan, north of Chicago. That's where I grew up. And so I was always at the beach, drawing things in the sand, and especially after I started doing light languages. So she sends me this message, and I don't want to paraphrase it. So how did you say that to me?
I just asked you what was your interpretation.
My interpretation.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things, you guys, that I wanted to say was, after doing this all these years, one of the number one questions I get, and the reason why I added that as a service is because there's so many of us that are starting to do these symbols, and we're like, okay, what is your interpretation? What is my interpretation? How do we figure out, by using our intuition, what does it mean, and how do I apply it, and how do I apply it in my daily life? What does it mean to me in my connections? How does it, and have you ever noticed too, Trish, how so many of us start to draw so many of the similar symbols too? And and then it's like, okay, we've got to have something in common. Do they mean exactly the same thing? Is it because we've all been on the same ships and I've seen so many symbols in my dream state and my waking state, and they're showing me, oh, well, these are in the corridors of ships that you guys have been on together. Oh, well, these are, they're above doorways, and it's like you start to connect the dots, and oh, yes. And oh yeah, I remember the other night when we were sleeping, and when I was sleeping in my astral, we were actually in a light language convention. Oh my God. And it's like, it starts to the memories, So yeah, can you show I forgot, I don't know how to screen share, you guys. So I was going to have her hold it up to show. Yeah. So there it is. So I don't know how clear you guys can see it, but so my very first impression was, oh my God, that is such a powerful symbol of the divine feminine. Then I see the sun, and I see like this combination of the divine feminine energy merging with the divine masculine. I'm also seeing the sun rays coming down and showing us that these are the light codes, that we are connecting with this divine feminine and masculine. And look at the big arrow, how it's being brought down to the earth. Like bringing this energy, this divine feminine goddess energy. I have always felt ever since I met you, we have this priestess kind of goddess energy that when we speak languages together, it's like, so like, even now I get that tingly.
I have chills all over me.
My whole body right now is completely just with a whole chill, because I feel like this is one of the reasons why we gather, is because we're gathering that energy. And anybody who knows Trish and sees her on Facebook, I mean, you exude that goddess energy, that water goddess energy. And I feel that Sirian, that Pleiadian, that Lemurian. I grab matter of fact, I grabbed my Lemurian crystal again this morning. I've been in this Lemurian energy with another client of mine in the last few days. So it's very interesting also that you and I would meet today, because I'm in that like water Lemurian flowy energy, and that like goddess priestess coming out of the water, and the connection. And I really think too, it's the power that we just experienced with the full moon and the eclipse.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing.
Totally. So so back to, how do we personally, when we draw a symbol like that, what did you experience, if anything, and what were you feeling? Did you get a sense of where, who, what it was meaning?
The whole day that day, I was completely surrounded by Pleiadian energy and the dolphins, and then, I'm walking down the beach. I always walk and, clean up the trash, and I was just told, pick up the staff and start drawing, and this is what came, and I just felt very strong universal strength and love through it, and I was just like, wow, a lot of dolphins.
It did. It felt very powerful. And you know what's weird too, Trish? I didn't even so she, just so you guys know, we have not talked. I mean, as far as like about the symbol yet, because I wanted it to be now and between us, and so we haven't discussed the symbol prior to this, as far as my impressions of it. So that's why I'm sharing it with you now. And you know what's really weird is yesterday I took a walk and I was at this stream, this spring, and that energy came through. The dolphin energy came through. It was like I could hear that dolphin tone in my I can't explain it, like my third eye, like in my ears. It was in my, and it like filled my heart chakra. And so you talking about that was like, uh-oh, did I lose her? I lost her. Where'd she go? Uh-oh, I'll pause. Hang on. Okay, so we resumed our recording. We had a little technical glip there. And so we're all good now. And
there you go.
There we go. Okay, so we were talking about the dolphin energy and how I was in it too. And then we were talking about the Pleiadian and energy and the water energy. And another thing is too, is just yesterday, and again, we haven't talked, so she didn't know that I had done any of this, and I had just done a water blessing, also light languages, and I just posted it this morning. So really feeling that water energy and that flowing energy and that whole, like we were talking about the moon, the full moon, we are really feeling the effects of this full moon, of that the lunar eclipse, and the blood moon and the wolf moon. I mean, it was the whole, and being a super moon on top of it, being, where it's closer than usual. So I really feel like it was a culmination of these things that lead to these types of gatherings where we're like, okay, we need to, come together. I did want to ask you really quick, how long has it been, just for those who, aren't aware, how long has it been since you've been familiar with light languages and speaking them, and what have been your like guidance or experiences since that time in using them?
I think I frequently started speaking it about 2 years ago, and I first connected automatically through you on YouTube, and I found you right away, and I was like, this is the one I've been looking for. Like I just felt so comfortable and at home with you. And
so were you already speaking them? Had you already started?
Yes.
Okay, so you were already speaking them. Okay.
When I found your channel, I was like, thank you. Someone else is like, I'm not going crazy. And then, I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I do a lot of Reiki. And then I noticed, like, once I started using it in my sessions, the energy, it was just so much more powerful, and it was like right away.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people come into light languages through Reiki, like they're already a practitioner and then they start, or like in my case, I actually started speaking languages first, then went into Reiki training. So, and then I went into Galactic Reiki, and then Will and I, and we did began the Aquarian fire. So it was all different types of, but it was all the same thing, like you said, and combining them. How can we combine and alchemize one with the other to make them both more powerful?
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yay.
So
So that's,
the more comfortable I accept, or the more I accepted it and, just went with the flow, it comes in stronger. And I find myself walking around the house, speaking it. And it's just like, it's just a natural form of communication for me actually in my daily life.
me too. Actually, I talk to pretty much everything in it.
Yeah.
My dog, the plants, my, just,
Oh, yeah.
just day-to-day stuff. How have you found that, since we're talking about connecting today too, how have you found that it's affected your ability to connect with anything, whether it's your higher self, your star families, your heart, your whatever, your body, how have you experienced it that way?
It's just an overwhelming feeling that just like, it just rushes through me. And I feel like when I speak in this, words aren't misinterpreted, or, I bless food in the grocery store, I'm blessing water, and, I always say it just falls out my face. And that's my term. It just falls
That's
out
how it feels too. It just falls. And that's how it was for me too. Like one day I wasn't speaking it, and the next day it was falling out of my face. And it was like, and then there were so many different kinds. And it was just like, okay, wow, what's up with this? And what do I do with it? And then I started thinking like, Bashar, okay, great. Well, what are you going to do with it then? And how are you guided to take it through your highest excitement, moment by moment, without any expectations? And how are you guided to use it? And how are you guided to share it? And why are you guided to share it? Well, it's because there's somebody else who needs to see it. There is no, as we know now, it's because there's somebody else on the other end who needs to be ignited or activated, or whatever we want to call it, illuminated. I've also found, for me too, speaking them, the symbols, connecting with my guides, that they help me literally unravel the thoughts and beliefs and patterns, like literally unraveling these patterns of, behavior patterns that that we don't let go of and don't know how. And what you said about, like you said, there is no it's almost like it bypasses the need for interpretation, and it goes just exactly where it needs to go when it needs to go there. And you're like, okay, today I need to work on self-worth. Today I need to work on letting go of judgment. Today I need to work on anger. Today I need to work on resentment. You know what I mean? It helps us unlayer this stuff so where we can actually become free like the water, and to flow and allow, because it's in the allowing that we connect. And so I love how when so many of you, Trisha included, send these little sound clips, and don't you gotta just love technology, where we can send each other these little sound bits of even just a moment of light languages, where even if it's just a minute long, like, do you, like, for me, I can experience like tears, or elation, or bliss, or connection, or sometimes I can't describe what I'm experiencing.
I know, I do that a lot. Like, it'll just come over me, and I'll feel the need to send it to someone, and they're like, wow, that's exactly what I needed right now. Thank you. And it's.
Yes. And I love, there's nothing more precious than when someone responds that way and they say to you, that was exactly what I needed, even if I don't even know what you said. And this is one of the things, before we get into our own blessings and conversation, is it's funny. One of the biggest things, I love hearing interpretations. There's people like Jim Charles. There's people who are really, really good at interpreting. And I say interpreting, and it's really an interpretation, not a translation. And I would really like to reiterate that, because even us, I've got literally a stack of binders and binders and binders filled with all of these light languages. And these are over the years, just full page after page, and there's so, even this one, it's like, it's almost like I'm transported back to the moment I did it, but yet it still has information now. Yeah. Like there's this whole story, and sometimes I date them and sometimes I don't. I'm getting much better about that. This one was, you're not going to believe this. See, now this is the stuff you can't make up, you guys. You saw me open the page, right? 12/3/2017 equals 7, super full moon in Gemini at the bottom of the page.
Oh, yeah.
Super full moon in Gemini.
Wow.
And we were just talking about the super full moon. And look, a whole year later, this was December of 2017.
Right.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about, you guys. You cannot make this stuff up. Yeah. All I did was open the page.
No, and this morning when I woke up, getting ready, and then the first time I saw the clock, when I actually paid attention, it was 7:11, and those are my numbers. So I was like, yes.
See? And then today being 1, and then 28, 111. Right. My birth path number is 11. If anybody doesn't already know that by now.
7, so
you're a 7, and I knew you were a 7. And then look, I pull up 7 for today, and then my address is 111. So this is what I'm saying. So all of these, and then 111 equals 3. So then we're talking about the divine, the Merkaba, the connect, the pyramid, the body, mind, spirit connection. Connect.
Right.
It's all connected.
Exactly.
So I think without further ado, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about your symbol, about your experiences, about symbols in general, about your light language experiences? And then I would really like to share some light language whatever we want to call it, blessings, activations, messages. I love nothing more than actually having a conversation in light languages, because it changes the energy.
Exactly.
So carry on, and I'm going to have look, reflections of source. Okay. Look at that. And it's got a 3 and an 11. Oh, and this one, and this date equals 11. So there we go. And then I've got my 11 link. This is Pasha Rose.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, see, I'm already starting to speak.
I know, there you go.
I didn't even realize it. Oh, isn't that funny? As soon as I picked it up, I'm like, the Council of 11 is one of the connections to that I began connecting with when I started connecting with this. And this was made by my friend, Holly Strong. Thank you, my sister. And it was for that healing purpose of the idea of bringing in the Council of 11 with us to assist us in breaking those chains, those behavior patterns, those things those chains of things that we want to break, so that we don't, so that we do not use that vibration as a pattern of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, we don't want that to be what our children see. We do not, this is the chain we're breaking, we are breaking that idea of, I'm doing this because it always was, and I don't know how to undo it. And now we're realizing that's absurd, and that we can keep it if we want to for the sake of experience, but it is for the sake of experience, period. And if we decide we're going to let it go, as Bashar would say, it doesn't take a process. The moment you decide is the moment it happens. It's how long do you want to decide you want to experience before your awareness that it's done. And breaking those patterns of beliefs that it can't happen just like that, because it does and it can. It's all about our belief system. And so the light languages, I truly believe, are to help us break through those belief system patterns, to help us better connect with our star families, our highest self, our heart. We don't even know how to connect with our heart and our own eyes. You know what I mean? We're still so weird about connecting with ourselves that don't you find it funny how we as humans, it's almost like we would rather connect with each other than we would with, or be alone with ourselves. It's kind of weird sometimes. And yet actually, I've always been my own best friend.
And that's one thing I've actually, right. Same here. I enjoy my time alone.
I love
being alone whatsoever.
And it's kind of like that lone wolf, but you need the pack. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like you love that alone time, but yet you realize that we're meant to be together. We're meant to be a pack. We're meant to gather, and so that when I started this channel, that was like the main thing was, how do I gather with other people around the world who are doing this, who, especially 4 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, there weren't that many people. And now as each of us are activating other people across the world, which is amazing, that's the point of it all, to allow these portals to be activated all over the globe so that we're all shifting to that higher dimensional frequency earth that we want to live in, And so anyway, do you have anything to add to that, or, your feelings about the reason for them and your reason for your connection to light, to light languages?
Well, I mean, like you say, we're alone, but we're actually never alone, and that's how I connect. I mean, being alone, I, do my meditations, do my healing, do my alone time. And I've been focused so much on me to where I haven't been even really posting in the groups. I've completely disconnected from YouTube, and I'm just going within right now, and the main focus is on me. So
yes, and I've been in much of that same.
Sometimes people don't understand that, and they get a little. But it's not my problem. Honestly, I'm here for me right
now. And isn't that what we're supposed to? All the stuff we are posting, isn't all of it about? You need to go within. You need to spend time. You need to. And it's funny how we post every day how we should disconnect in order to connect, but yet we still post it. And so I too have found myself backing away from that constant need. Because I think I realized too, as many of us do, it's a way of distracting ourselves from connecting with ourselves.
Exactly. I rather spend more time in nature, just connecting outside rather than being glued to my phone or device.
And I realized even me.
Yeah.
Since I shifted where I live, it's funny because now to me, 40 feels cold. Where I used to be, I'd be out there in 10 below zero. Now I'm and I realized yesterday how even though I'm outside, we were talking before we went on live that I do go outside every single day because I walk with Ranger. That's a ritual. I mean, and believe me, by 2 p.m. or whatever, he's
get me outside.
It's time. It's you've been working too long. It's time to go. It's time to go. So it's a ritual. I mean, but
it really is a ritual.
Because if I don't do it, like you were saying too, if we don't go outside, we're it's not being able to dispel the energy that's builds up within us. And we're literally the toxins from everything we live, we breathe, the toxins from social media, the energies of all those people out there, all of it. We're constantly dissimilating and discerning, and I find myself sometimes exhausted from that constant interaction, and then the feeling of obligation for those.
The main word, the obligation. You feel obligated, and it shouldn't be that way.
No,
You should be obligated to taking care of yourself, you
exactly.
know?
And it's not that, of course, like me, every day I could do this all day because I love it. This is
Right.
the thing. Even me, I've got to find balance, because if I don't, I could do this all day. And, between making videos and, but what I realized was yesterday too, one is that I haven't been making enough videos outside instead of in the house.
Right.
And, but sometimes it's just too windy. I mean, there are reasons why you just can't. But I realized too that I haven't been spending enough time in, like, solitude in nature. Yes, I go for walks. But what I realized was I haven't been spending, like, centered time in nature where I'm literally tuning it out and expelling that energy, all of those energies from, technology and the computer and just stuff, and so I realized that, yes, and though
Right.
I do that when I walk with him, when we walk every day, though, I'm consciously saying, okay,
Right.
help me, clear this energy. Thank you, Gaia, for connecting with me and grounding with me and you know, eradicating, these energies that, but then again, I'm not one of these people who feels like, oh, I need protection, or, oh, I need to cleanse myself, or no, because
Oh, I don't either.
I'm
I
just
am
never been like, you know what my angels told me? My angels told me once, they said, if you think you need to ask us more than once, you're the one who believes that we stopped. It doesn't,
right.
they're like, if you think you need to, and then they say the same, the thing like, who, I think one of the other channelers has used that analogy where, do you then, every time you order at the restaurant, every time the waitress walks by, do you, oh, did you get my order? Oh, did you place my order? Did you check on my, it's like, you only need to place your order once, ma'am. And so it's our belief system
Right.
that breaks down, that we break down, and we believe we are vulnerable. We
Right.
believe we are susceptible. Because we believe, the reason why we believe it is because we've lowered our
Right.
vibration about
Exactly.
how we feel about ourselves. And once we lower our vibration about how we feel about ourselves and start feeling shitty about ourselves, then we start allowing that energy in, and those belief systems get triggered over
Right.
and over again. And finally you start to see the absurdity of that, that you're like, why do I keep creating that? And I myself have been going through this myself the last week of, okay, just what are these, why am I still having these triggers? And you know what? It's all about, I'm not good enough. I don't, and even though I'm the one who's expressing this every day, that you guys are, I'm human too, and
Exactly.
so we're all going but this is what makes you, me, this is why we're the teachers, the way showers, because we are teaching people how to use these tools that were given from our star families, by ways of light language, by ways of symbols, by ways of intuit what it means. It may mean something completely
Right.
different to you than it means to someone else. And how do you, if I were to send you a symbol of mine, and I would say, what does it mean to you? I really believe that it's a combination of things. I think that we can feel the same energy radiating off of it. For example, like, we can sort of get the same feel from it. Yet I feel like but I feel like the symbol is supposed to teach us and show us something different for each of us. Like,
Right.
we're supposed to
Exactly.
receive something different from it.
Yeah.
And so I have to wonder then, as we're trying to translate and interpret them, um, are we, because we're human and we're trying to find reason and logic, and a specific word or meaning behind the symbol, are we narrowing the efficacy or the, are we narrowing are we narrowing what its potential meaning to each of us, because we're trying to analyze it. Well, what does this mean? Well, what is it trying to tell me? And, sometimes I will get information, like they'll come through and they'll say to me, this is the Council of Nine. This is the, this is the Lemurian Collective. This is the Sirians. These are yes, that does happen, because that's part of why we're connecting. But the same thing will happen to me when I'm in solace with the trees. I can be with the trees or the water, and I can actually have a telepathic connection with another being, just by being in nature, just by being so in the now and centered. So it can come from different directions. And that's why they call it light codes, because I can look, like, for example, have you ever, and I've had this happen when I'm at the beach, I get like these downloads of, if only all of you could understand that all of these grains of sand on the beach cannot even compare to you. Right. And all that you are, and all your fractals. And I'm just like, okay, whoa, that's just like, and then when you try to explain that to somebody, even in a video, you're like,
remember we went back to the hourglass?
Yes, that's right. And the sand, I forgot all about that. I completely forgot about that, talking about the sand and the hourglass. And that's so weird that you just said that too, because I just got done saying to my husband the other day, I never did buy that hourglass that I was going to buy. I said, I got to get that hourglass, and I can't believe you just mentioned it.
That's so funny. Yeah.
But do you see how this connection works, you guys? Let's speak some light languages. That's how this connection works. Go ahead. I need a drink of water. Yes, me too. Sinasokoya ilisono kayashana koi kiasana por kiasano selai lakiyanshano koya kiasana seta kolekia. So now what I just heard was, oh, what a relief this feels like coming home. Where I no longer have to try to translate into words, say what my heart is trying to say. You know what I mean? It's just I have started trying to interpret specific words, though, because there's certain words I say a lot over and over. So I started asking my guides yesterday, okay, what does that mean?
Right.
And I've been trying to get, because there's sometimes I say it's like tequila, and it's like I say the same thing over and over, and then I'll hear other people saying the same words, and it's like, we've got to be speaking the same language, right?
Right. Oh yeah, I definitely hear others at the same,
language. And so when you first, like for me, when I first heard the first person on YouTube speaking languages, it was like, okay, I don't know what that is or why that is, but something just spoke to me and happened to me. And that I don't understand. Go for it. And when you sent me those sound clips, those voice clips on that's the first thing I heard was, we have got to speak together. again, it just feels like the sisters are, back together.
Right.
And we're walking on the beach, drawing in the sand. But it's funny, as I'm saying that right now, I'm seeing that we're on another planet, and I see that it has like 3 different moons, and each one's a different color. And and like they're showing me the days are much longer there. The colors are more vibrant. They're showing me how we can pull an apple out of thin air. How much fun we have swimming, because we're different there. We can swim like the dolphin under the water, and we don't have to worry about breathing.
Right.
And so as I speak them, I start to see visions, and I start to feel, and I start to hear, and I start to see. And it's almost like then they're showing me, see it through your experience of you being that other being. And then I ask them or myself, okay, am I talking to another fractal of me? Is it another being on another planet? Is it
Right.
and sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other. You say, but like they say, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it's always going to be your higher self speaking through your heart, and you're interpreting it the way you need to interpret. And if it's as a Pleiadian or a Lyran, or it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And again, it's because we're human, and we need to label, categorize, logicalize. So Misha, and I even look at myself, like, really, if this is not like Elvin and Fairy and Wolf, and I mean, it's like, you know what I
Right.
mean? And Shikani and Zeta and you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't see when you really start to look at yourself, you start to see these different like versions of yourself.
Oh yes.
And if it's like, and I find it fascinating.
I know. I could like my eyes can change from day to day. My facial features, it's just amazing. And it's like sometimes you look at in the mirror and you're like, oh, who am I
Who am I
today?
today? Exactly. And we really do shift through different parallel realities, and
Oh yeah.
one day I feel like I look like really, really a lot younger, and some days I'm like, oh, I feel like I look a little older today. Or
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm shifting through these different realities of different, like versions of myself, maybe at different ages, even though everything's now we can, and so I found that substantiated when Bashar said, in I think more than once, where someone asked him, how old are you? And he said, well, it depends on what second you're asking me. Right now I'm 168. Right now I'm
Right.
73. Right now I'm 133. Right now I'm 434. Right now and so it's like, it makes you start to truly understand how light languages starts to illuminate those brain synapses,
Right.
like to even be able to think like that. you know
Right.
and I feel like I'm talking to my body and my cells, and it's like
Oh,
it's almost like light language has a way of penetrating, like, even the trees and the ground and the
oh
sky,
yeah.
and it's so etheric, yet we can feel it, we can hear it, we have emotional reaction to it.
Oh yeah.
And even now, I'm feeling, they're saying to me, the ones who only communicate in sign. So they don't speak. And what they showed me was, They said, as you move your hands, you're moving the energy in a specific pattern. What we're seeing is the pattern of the geometry that you're creating. It's not, see, it's not necessarily the symbols themselves, the hand positions. Your hands are being guided on how to create the specific geometry pattern to connect to our frequency. My fingers right now are like pulsating and buzzing right now. So they're showing me what we're seeing is the energy patterns and the sacred geometry that you're creating. They said to me, just like someone posted, was it yesterday or something, where was it an earthquake and then it created a specific design in the sand that created a flower?
Oh wow.
Something like that. They said to me, Soto Shamakele, it is not unlike the energy that creates the crop circles. But they're saying it's on a global consciousness level. They said your whole movement as a consciousness is what creates the design. Just like I am doing right now. Does that make sense? That's what they're saying to me. Does that make sense? That's what they're trying to say is it's all about geometry. Now take those symbols they've been telling me, take those symbols that you draw, many of you, and that you're sharing. Now lift them off the page. And give them an intention.
Right.
And each and every one of you are going to use them differently. And that's on purpose, because you're creating your own auric sacred geometry. So that we see you. I'm looking for here. We see you as these designs, like the design on the back of a card. Right. That's how we see it. So, they're so sweet. They said, we see you all as little snowflakes. That's
great.
And grains of sand. I love using the sand because if you take a grain of sand and you look at it through a magnifying glass, look at all the beautiful diamond. And then when you look at sand as a whole collective, isn't it interesting, you guys, how we use sand as a grain of sand, but the sand is the sand?
Yeah.
And it's all one thing then. It becomes, and then you can see all of the sparkles from the whole, so they're saying not unlike all of you. Say, we see you as like individual little diamond, but we also see you as a collective.
Right.
Sand. Say, and they even show me how the water changes the ripples in the sand and how the soft waves of the sand. Never once is the position of those grains of sand ever the same. Never. And they said the same goes for your molecular structure. Never, ever are you the same. Ever, moment by moment by moment. See what I mean? I mean, all of the stuff that just rushes in as you start actually speaking. Yes, it takes me away, truly. It takes me away.
Me too. I find I do. Yes. That's great. I find I do the hand signals with music.
Yes.
Music just takes me, makes my, I can never be without music. It just takes me.
Oh, me either. I find myself, do you make up songs too in light languages? Like yesterday,
yes, I do all the time. But there's actually one that you sing all the time, and it just makes me like feel so at home. And I'm like, oh, I know that song.
That's so kind of you. It's so it's
cute.
heartwarming because I feel that connection. You know, that's what's so awesome about it. So yesterday I'm walking up the stairs, I'm going, Alikase shania la la kinaya hey ne la la kinaya, and I'm just walking, you know, and I'm Nisaraki ya la la ya ne la ya no kwasha taki, and I'm just making up words. You know, I'm just making up words as I go along, and you know.
That's great. I'm just going with the flow. Yeah.
But you know, and we have to remember, like what came to my mind. We're talking about the Pleiadian energy, and we're talking about, and what came to me just now was that hey and hey oh yeah, that shamanic.
That's the one. That's
hey,
the one.
yes.
That's the song. I'm like, yes, I love
it. It's
that just
like right now I'm buzzed. It's like it
want to
brings me
explode.
to my shamanic Native American roots. Like
Yes.
when I first connected with the Pleiadians, I was near the beach. Funny, we were talking about sand, and because they were telling me all of this stuff that I was sharing about the sand and the beach, and they were showing me pictures of myself as a Native Indigenous, you know, person. And the seer, the shaman, and the one that people would come to, and there would be lines of the community, and how I would connect with the spirits, like you know, and smoking the peace pipe, and and I would receive visions in the smoke, and I would give it to the community, and they were showing me how miasote, all of the in the hometown I grew up in, the town itself is a translation of little fort. It means little fort, and because it was in an Indian village and a Native American village there, and it was all along the shores of Lake Michigan. And they were showing me how they were connecting to the Pleiadian energy and receiving information through, you know, and actually. And the Native Americans understood this connection between the earth and Gaia and the sky and the water and all of that. And they were teaching them, they were showing them, and they were giving them like the light codes of information and they understood that every single thing is connected in the cycles of life and the water. And so they were showing me all of this stuff. And that's when I started to understand more and more deeply the connection between the star families and our indigenous peoples on the planet. And then Yakwase, and how they used music, drums, tones, and that you know, that energy that gets built up when you're in a drum circle, and that energy that gets built up when you're on the sand, and when you're one of my favorite things to do, and I'm sure I guess they let you guys do this too, is building the fires on the water, on the sand, and being there at nighttime and building that fire and being on the water. And it would get so dark you couldn't even see the water, but it was like this eerie feeling because you know it's there, but you cannot see it. Pitch black, right? Yeah, it was like they were showing me how to go within, like to block it all out. You know what I mean? And be with that moment and that sound and that, and this was long before I started speaking languages, you know, that I was, you know, and then when I started speaking them, then they started giving me all this information. But so very interesting how we're starting to connect. And even when I finally told my husband about me speaking light languages, and that's the first thing he said to me was, well, that's nothing new. It's like, and that's exactly right, because it's old, it's ancient. It's as if we are transmitting ancient wisdom, and we don't even need to translate it into like our language. We don't have to. It's almost like it's embedded in our being, and once we transmit it, whoever needs it, however, whenever, wherever their body needs it, will receive it And there needs no translation or interpretation necessarily. And that's the whole point of it. If we are to learn to trust our intuition and to become telepathic, we've got to stop getting things lost in the words. You know what I mean?
I feel the vibration, you know.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time worrying about how do I say something to somebody. So, and I think what we're learning is and I've learned this myself, about being more compassionate, about realizing that these are just mirrors for each other to point out things that we need to, for ourselves to learn and grow, and first-handedly understanding that this is definite, you know, how is this, what is my higher self trying to show me that I need to deal with and look at and unravel these belief systems that are still in there, that not good enough, all of that, you know what I mean? And where are those threads still lingering, and thanking the people who show us that, because they are our soulmate in that moment. They are that other fractal of us that we've agreed to do this dance with. And so so yeah, go ahead. I'd like to hear some more from you as well, Kiashana.
Kono o se kata ena ara koto tore o mi akana tatea. Mi sokono na tatea hana ara hera ere mi ata tatea ana hashiete kena ara mi ata tatoya. Ne asa ahana atete konono tatea tate ana kayana. Koto o shi mi ara tatai. Emo tu asana seto samasha ke asala. Ne meni aro akaliki mashano toikia. La porasena sambikia shana sete itantia kali namalaku. Shemola mi anakola yandora shano sole ilakoa. Le enate itaki sena sala. Semo sono tapale amara koshana seto korakia. Le shana sona imalako namalakote elakora. Shese. Somotoria shana kelakora. Amana ala te enanamala koshana selu so. Shana so orakoa. Ledna te itekia sana seto so. Sono sono dokora palatia so. Shemo oro ai enananakia. Lesena shatopora koshana seta se. Sina sote somo sote. Ino tora shoto oro. Nete ilisina. One of the reasons why these light languages resonate with you is because they touch the core vibration chord within you that strikes the harmony of unconditional love. Niamo satashina sali umakia sena sete sena somo oro esha neita sena sonobora, where only your souls speak and the hearts within all of those souls speak. Ishino sete, shino sete, ushna sewa. Arakura Gashia Tikianatoya Hayanate Shonoto Miasataya Moto Koyamrataya Nametaya Toshiana Tiga Mahati Yanataya Neshoto Sonosete Eshana Sotera Ua Lena I Inavarako Ne Isa Sonotesho so Ushonoseke Plea Sonosopo Shonoseto Amalatea E lo sonosopo Shonoseke Ilisete Sanasala Ila Itasha Nia Sotose Ila Koya Tiasa Nia Koreaka Mi soto shamaia. I sono quella chisa te se il sopo qua le sono pola kashina sit gore ancora kai I sono seto
So what they're saying to me is they are encouraging us to be speaking light languages to each other. So they said to me, there's a mirror and an alchemy happening at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
It's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
And it's so weird too when I look at you and look at us. It's so
wow.
rare that I meet people with dimples too. And so as I'm saying that about the mirror, I'm like, oh my God.
Looking right at you.
And our teeth, even our teeth.
I have gaps.
So do I. I've had braces. I still wear my retainer.
Right?
I grew up with a big gap in my teeth. I did. So all my life.
Yeah.
That's the funny part about me. I never would smile because of it. All my life, I smiled without my teeth. And then it wasn't until I got older and got braces and got more confident because I was embarrassed. And now, and you know what? Same thing with my ears.
I'm me. Like,
I'm glad that you were, I hid my feet because my feet were too big. I hid my ears because my ears were too big. I hid my teeth because my teeth were too big. It was just like, and my eyes were weird and, and so it was just like, and then I had glasses. So I never was accepting myself, fully. And it wasn't, and the irony of all of this, you guys, is it wasn't until I turned on the camera and put myself behind the camera for the first time, I completely stopped even thinking about any of it. None of it. It never even occurred to me anymore to, put on makeup or worry about, I mean, it just, all of a sudden, it just didn't matter. I was like, I wanted to be pure and raw and clear. And it was as if I wanted to undo all of the pretenses that I had been molded into all of my life, that if you didn't do this and dress like this and act like this, you couldn't be a woman in business. You couldn't be, you know what I mean? And here I was, a short little 5-foot blonde girl, in business trying to be taken seriously. And so, you learn to play a role and do, and it was such a relief finally to meet people such as yourself and people all over the world who are just real, who were just wanted to be and explore more of who they were and not being caught up in all of that anymore. And I found it so refreshing when we would just be so relaxed and casual with each other about just our home and our environment. And we would talk and hang out and we'd be cooking and eating and talk, it was just so, it felt like family again. It was like, I found my family. I'm so happy. I was just like, we would just have these delightful long gatherings like this. And so, as you can see, I get really excited
me too.
about doing them, and so I wanted to thank you for taking your time today and thanking you for sending me those clips, sending that drawing, because really, had you not followed your guides and said, hey, what do you think of this drawing? And funny, one of my other star sisters sent me the same thing yesterday, asking me, well, what do you think these symbols mean? And what do you think, and so there's more and more of us that want to explore this. And so
definitely,
I kind of feel like really, and I love what you said. I want to go back to what you said about using them in Reiki, because really important that we're starting to use our guidance in that, how we're combining, and like you said about the blessing our food and our water and how much of a difference that makes in the collective consciousness frequency. And what they're even telling me now is, you guys don't understand and it's 1:29 my time, 1:11, 1:11, 1:29. They said, you guys don't even understand the Schumann frequency resonance change that you make when you guys do that stuff. You think it doesn't matter, but they said to me, it's measurable. It's
It really
your
is.
scientists can measure it now. And what you guys do can be measured now. And they're even showing me how, as all of us, like you and me, go out in the world and speak light languages, like to the water and the the
Right.
sand and the trees and the food. They're actually showing me how the frequency of the plants and everything, the aura changes.
Oh yeah. I've
How
seen
it starts to like resonate in a new aura, and so visualize, you guys, visualize this stuff when you're listening to light language, when you're using it, when you're drawing, when you're putting it out there, when you're sharing it. Visualize this change in the frequency of the collective consciousness. And remember,
right.
remember, we are not changing the earth we are on. We are all moving to versions of the earth that resonate with that frequency. That other earth still exists. It still exists with all the same people that resonate in that frequency. And haven't you noticed now, when you start moving away, all of a sudden you're like, hey, whatever happened to so and so? Like,
Right.
don't hear from them anymore. Don't know, where, so, there you go. So anyway, it's just that we need to start visualizing and using our imagination, because like, they told me today in my meditation, perceive, believe, receive.
Yes, I get that too all the time, and it's the truth, It's absolutely the truth.
And so that's a great, I think, segue. So I just can't get
I know. It's amazing.
I love it. Yes, go ahead, girl. Give us some less divine blessings before we close out today.
Okay, here we go. Mirakula arashiana tatea kono o kianataya anarotota ashanatakianataya. Noto o shakanata hera aramiata te araati te keono toto. Nayatataya hashanatatea hamana. Hamana natea ara ashikiante ara ampiate kianatai. Kono o shinata kihena amia ko kota koriamia tatai. No shi ala ashiala hala ara mamomoto kayana tatai ko shinata kimiatai.
Nia Kaliana. Ito sonostote shana sokwa. Plakoria sanashima orako sanaseta sanaselu hamawa. Shino somotua shanase keali ia. Enamai ina ito koraka shanaselo guagua shanasela. Eporeshe kintatia sosapaki. Apore shanakalia dariki. Me sono sotoshora e shanate. Sino so ikia yi shanasabavi kona vologorshana. Listen soto sunbora koramayana itai. Sena ilako. I just love the visions I get as they're showing me how you and I they're showing me how we've gathered in so many different ways, dressed in different ways. We look differently. And we're together with so many others. And I remember waking up this morning thinking, wow, what did I do last night? It was so beautiful. And they said to me, but of course you were meeting for today. Exactly. They're like, of course. Of course you were. So what he is, I'm just so vibrating.
I'm like so happy. Like this is really, this is great. Like I don't do videos this is actually my first video, and my guides have been pushing me for so long to like step out of my comfort zone, and like, I do most of my work behind the scenes. So now it's time for me to just present myself and go with the flow. And it's such an honor to be able to do it with you. I'm truly grateful.
I am so excited that you did. And yes, we've been working on this for a while. And one of the things, as many of you know, I love to do is help people come out of their shells, to illuminate and then go just be big, bright lighthouses and go beam your beams and open your portals and, do what you do, doing you.
Absolutely.
And that is what this is all about. That is the key. That's what illuminator means. That's what way shower means. It's not, I do this to you, for you. It's, I do this with you. And so you can go be you. And that's what this is all about, is empowering each other. And when I saw that symbol that you showed me in the sand, that I love that.
Yeah.
Symbols in the sand.
Let me show it one more time.
Yes, do that. Symbols in the sand. And you know what? That's what I'm seeing right now, is that's what I saw. I saw empowerment.
Yeah.
We are empowering each other. When we empower each other, when we share, when we are raw, when we are unique, when we are authentic, when we are showing our stuff, our faces and our dimples and our feet and our ears, and we're going out there. And one of the very first things the turtle said to me, come out of your shell. Come out of your shell and watch the magic.
Turtles are great. I love turtles.
And they're so ancient, and they're so filled with ancient wisdom. And and I've got a turtle here. I've got a turtle photograph. I've got photographs of the turtle that I took photographs of when I had that telepathic connection, when it said to me, it's time for you to come out of your shell. So here she is. Here she is, coming out of her shell.
Yay, thank you so much.
And thank you to the languages. Thank you to the languages of light. Thank you to light language, the universal codes of light, who woke us up and showed us our connection to each other, so we can reconnect today, that we can remember that we're connecting in the astral, and we're doing this together, that we're loved, we're supported, we're guided by each other. And each of us has a unique niche. Your niche, the word unique. So thank you, dear sister, for being with me today in this galactic gathering of light. And I love nothing more than to bring the light language linguists together so we can create something magnificent and powerful and magical. So thank you, my magical sister. And this will not be the last. And we will do we'll do many more to come. So much love to you all. And Mia Sota Shimiki Ilusone se Sante Sanasora Ura Kaikia Isha Sonatele Ishaya. Thank you for being with me in my journey of joy. And remember that every journey contains the word joy. Makala se sanata. Mahala. Namaste.